Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and today, yes, we got some things to go over from Star Trek Online X-Feed, so on screen. Yes, captains, before we get into the video, do us a huge favor and hit that like button, but also, if you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing to the YouTube Bridge, where we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains to share our love, passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. And with that said, here we go. Captains, as we normally do, we're going to drop the ECs on the new blog here on the X feed, and of course at the end give our conclusions. It's only one thing, but the Triz is confused a little bit here, but let's go. Starting May 28th on PC, face endless waves of Borg in a brand new TFO. How long can you last in the Borg Battle Royale? So, this is where the confusion happens because of this picture, which is a great picture, by the way. Obviously, we're using it for the thumbnail. You got 3 Borg cubes here, and of course, a little lone galaxy there, but not just any 3 Borg cubes. You have the original Borg with the green lights. You got the Kingdom Borg with the red lights, which was recently introduced, of course, in Star Trek Online, and of course, the Cooperative with the blue lights. So the confusion lies in that when Unparalleled was announced, they already told us there that there was going to be a brand new TFO. But, and I'm going to go to that blog right here, Star Trek Online Unparalleled will include the following new features. So, brand new task force operation, Borg Battle Royale. A new 5-captain ground TFO. A holodeck simulation of fighting waves of Borg allows captains to gain experience in small teams, holding off increasingly dangerous groups of Borg enemies of all types. The event version will last 12 rounds. After the season event ends, an infinite round version will be available. So we've gone over this already last week. The new blog here has a picture of it being in space. Now, usually, when there is TFOs being announced, new TFOs, they usually have a scene from that TFO, if not always. So, this is where I'm confused. It said here, ground TFO, and it's showing here a space map. So we're going to read this, and we're going to continue to give our EC. So, a battle royale with the Borg. A brand new endless TFO is coming to PC on May 28th. How long can you survive against the Borg? Now, there's a little bit of lore here going on, so we're going to read this. It's not enough. Kumarke hunched over a Federation datapad in her quarters on the LSS Rescava. New Alliance data was downloading every second, and she pored over it, analyzing battle plans, checking supply lines, anything she can get her hands on, anything to keep her thoughts at bay. She closed her tired eyes for just a moment. Too long. The Borg drone lurched out of the darkness, and its hand was on her throat, and the wire shot out of its arm, and she was one of them. There was no Kumarke, there was only us. She snapped back to reality. The datapad lay broken on the table before her. Had someone been screaming? Was it her? She shook her head and slowly stood. It wasn't real. She wasn't there anymore. Kumarke was an admiral, and she couldn't afford to be this. I love how this is literally speaking to the PTSD she is having from that last episode we went through. It's crazy. I feel like something's bad can happen to her. Well, the bad thing, I guess, could be the ultimate fear that she's having. She's going to be assimilated, but we're just going to have to wait and see. They had to get ready. More Borg would come. The Alliance was not prepared. She had to, deep breath, remember what your counselor, so she's taking counselor sessions here to try to help her cope with what she was going through. And what she went through was essentially just like a moment of just utter fear. And I loved how they actually portrayed that in the episode. Breathe the life, the love from all around you, and know that you are safe. In, out. The room swayed for just a moment, and then she was back. Her thoughts were her own again. She had to put a stop to this, get this fear out of her. She had to get the alliance ready. How could she do both at once? So I do like this. I do love how they're still playing on this, and it feels like this is going to be some sort of major plot that Camargue is just, something's going to happen to her, and I bet you it's going to be more or less her getting assimilated. Now, this little part here. So Star Trek Online is releasing a brand new task force operation with the launch of Star Trek Online Unparalleled, called Borg Battle Royale. This TFO will charge you with facing increasingly difficult waves of Borg and see how long you can survive. Similar to both the Kobayashi Maru and Arena of Sompak TFOs. So is this a ground and a space version? Or is it a ground version that they put out here and then they're changing it to a space version? I don't know. I feel like they might be doing a switcheroo, or there was a miscommunication, which has been a thing. The event version of this TFO will end at a predetermined point, level 7. Let's go back to the original blog, because it says here, this event version will last 12 rounds. So it sounds like they're talking about two totally different things. This being the ground one, this being a ground and space one. Space one because of this picture here, which again, I love. I'm going to say that right now. It's a little confusing. However, once the event is over, the TFO will have no set end, and captains will see how long they can last against the Federation's ultimate enemy. Ready your resistance. So a lot to kind of take in here with this, along with my confusion personally, because I feel, like I said earlier at the beginning of the video, usually when they put out new TFOs, they put a sort of image from that TFO. And not only do you have the 3 Borg here, you have the Galaxy class there, but you also have this sort of beacon here, which is usually kind of an indication of where the pointer enemies are going to spawn into or onto. Now, the one other EC thought I had was, could this be, if this is a space version, or if there is some sort of choice to have it as a space version, will this be a new sort of way to measure the DPS? Because the standard, of course, is ISE. And that's because the enemies are grouped, everything's easy, there's no time gates. The only thing I can see time gate here is the waves incoming. So you finish a wave, and then just like in Kobayashi Maru, there's a little time from enemies coming in and out. But if you have endless Borg coming at you, I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a sort of shooting fish in a barrel scenario, where you're just going to have a bunch of Borg debris floating around in space after you have done and had your way with them. So I'm excited for this, definitely. I was excited originally for just new content regardless, but now that there's a space version, or maybe a hint of a space version, I don't know. Not only that, again, the 3 different colors here, which I love. I love that. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, the first blog does indicate ground. This one, I think, is space, or even both. I would love if there's like one wave you're on the ground, next wave you're in space, and then back and forth, or something like that. Or you get a choice. Pick the ground, pick the space. That the Borg Battle Royale is 2 in 1. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Did they change it? Now, today, as we're recording this video, which is of course the Tuesday, there was none. There was no 10 forward, which is kind of surprising. So We're going to have to wait and see if there's going to be any responses to any of the questions, because I've seen, like, what is it? It's going to be ground, into space. We're going to have to wait and see. And of course, if and when that answer comes out, before Unparalleled comes out, of course, we will cover it here on the bridge. So, captains, before we end this video, do us a favor, hit the like button, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? What do you actually make of this image that they're showing for this battle royale with a Borg? When they first dropped the info, it was saying a ground TFO, and now they're giving us space. Again, you can tell I'm confused. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. So, other thing, of course, subscribe to the YouTube bridge. And of course, any new Unparalleled information that comes out, we're going to try to cover it here on the bridge to drop our 2 ECs. And with that said, we'll leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.